Can you go to the data? Simply run the query. Run the query. Okay. You see this central being coming up multiple times, right?
Mm-hmm.
At multiple places. So when we do a graph on central, right, what happens is there's going to be multiple numbers that would come up, and it wouldn't make sense. All we need is you kind of do a pivot on the region. It's going to be the central and the profit for, okay, one number for central. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do we get that on this data? Can I use a query which is cross-tab? Mm-hmm. So can you go back? Can you go back? Yeah. So, yeah, the first, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Go to the region. Okay. Go to the next one. And here, cross that query wizard, where we wanted to show the profit. Okay. And what we want to show, the sum, is based on the profit itself. Or maybe, yeah, let's do that. Do you see that? The sum of it, it's not coming up. It's not coming up. Okay, so cancel this. I'll share that on my screen. Okay, so the region that you have here on the central, if you try to create a graph on top of it, let's try to create a graph on top of it, or maybe the on the report, maybe, or even on the query, if you can create a graph of it, show just the four regions and the total profit of it. Region, yeah. Mm-hmm. Can you show a graph on this? Sorry, I'm sorry. Monique, 2 minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got this, the sum of profit. Do you want to show the numbers on it? Yeah, that's perfect. I think we're thinking alike on the same time. Right. So do you want to format this the number formats? It should be like 157, comma 636. That's for the sheet. That's for the sheet. So let's do it for the chart properties. Okay. If you can click on the numbers, do you get to see that option? Okay. Right click on it. Okay, the tab color, and that's not coming out here. Yeah, no, that's not coming out here. But this is the way that we create the charts on top of it. And can we replicate the same chart, maybe in slightly in different way? Event. So in all, if you see, chart 0 has legend, yes. Mhm. Yeah, I think we do have a limited information. So do you want to show the trend line options? I think you have selected as none. Can you go to that? See,
Where?
what are the trend lines on the right hand side on the format? Yeah. Yeah. So this is linear, right? You understand the difference between these linear trends and so on?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So what would you choose for this trend? Is it going to be linear or it's going to be average, moving average?
I don't think it looks better without one.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, in general, if you look at uh, the trend, not just by, okay, maybe this trend is by region, okay, but if you're looking at trend of a region by months, so you know what I mean, that it's only for central region. If I'm looking at from Jan to December, I would do the moving average. If you were to do the trend line, or I can create a trend line where I can hit the average of the 12 months, where the average of the 12 months is. And I could define whether a particular month is going beyond average or is it a below average if you're talking about the profit. So that's how I plan to do that. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the coding part. Okay. Do Alt F11. We'll do some stuff on that now. Right. So can you go to the include a private? AC Viz main. What are these AC Viz databases here? Does it run? Do you have any add-in that runs on the background for you on the databases?
I don't think so.
Mm, there are quite a few.
I don't know what these are.
Okay. I think maybe one of the application might be using that. I think that's the reason it is interfering with the options that we would want to select. Just try to close. Okay, now save the work and close the access and then reopen the new access again. Now go to the Alt F level. All right. I don't see this now. Okay. Now insert a module. Perfect. Okay. You want to start off with the subject. So how do we start with the subject? What is it? What is the primary things that we need to understand? So you need to define it as a private. Yeah. Sub and space and the name of the code. So it will be, say, hi, hi, and open and close parentheses. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now hit on the message box. But that's perfect. So once you get this, you would get the end as well. Okay. And subject as well. Now, click on message box. I mean, just type in message box. Not bad. And in the inverted comma, in the inverted commas, type in a message. That you would like to see that. Okay, space inverted comma. Yeah, quotes. Yeah. Type in and any of the messages that you wish to see. Okay. Yeah. Hit on enter. That should get automatically corrected. MSG box, not MBSSG. It's MSG box. Perfect. So once you hit on enter, that would get automatically corrected. Yeah, the casing of it. Try to run this code now. Right. So we get to see this now. Okay. So now let's talk about create another code which says call hi. Not really. Maybe you can call it in the same module. After end subject, hit on enter. Okay, yeah. So go to again private sub call CALL and open and brackets, open and close parenthesis. Right now. So then hit on enter. Okay, call one. Okay, right. Now, so when you hit on enter, what really happens is you will get an horizontal line for the previous codes that you have. And here, I wanted you to call CALL. Type in, no, in the subject itself, it says CALL space, say underscore HI. Yeah, hit on enter. Right. Try to run the subject call one. Okay, see what happens. So you need not have a code to do this. Okay, but however, you could keep on repeatedly having this, something similar to the code that I showed you earlier, the echo off and echo on, and where you have this codes. So do you have that saved on your PC? If you can open that out, yesterday's example. All right. Yeah. So this is the subject all open table. So I would want you to read this through. Okay, now it's going to be slightly more of a theory for us. Okay, so each of the access databases or maybe any of the application that we have, if we're trying to do a specific run on the data, okay, and on the application you have any menus being selected, menu commands, or could be any of the things that you do is called as an event. Okay, so you clicking on any of the form, that's going to be an event. You click on the design tab, that's going to be an event. So all those events are can be called using the VBS, which means I'm able to perform the activities without really by clicking on them and then entering the values or running the queries or running the delete commands or so on. How do I do that? For that, I need to understand what are the elements that are being involved into the action. Okay, that's one way. And second, we need to understand the environment things. In such cases where the table is open, we would not be able to run any kind of a command on that open table, right? We need to, we need to close that out. So this is one of the thing. And secondly, if some line is in editing, we cannot run the code when the line is in editing because that's pertaining to a specific table. So we need to come out of it. So all these informations, all these are going to be the dependencies for a code to run. Okay, while that dependency may occur or not, we need to keep that into consideration. Okay, here when I say close all open tables, I did a dimension table as DAO dot table definition. Okay, that's few of the things that you get it. So can you hit on the DAO dot? Okay, can you go there and click over there, DAO dot. So here, let me do that. Yeah. So can you hit a space? Okay, that's not coming up over there. Okay, that's fine. So let's remove that space off. Okay, so what does it do is it is going to do the data application, kind of an open table definitions. Okay, basically, and it says for each of table in the current database table definition. So you remember yesterday I showed you that Excel, irrespective of the name and the order of the tabs, it's going to be by default, sheet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, 10. So, and similarly, here also we will have the database tables, stored in the current database. So now what it's doing is I'm defining a variable, the table as this. It is going to search the table in all the databases if it is open or not. Okay, on error, resume next. So which means what am I trying to do? I'm trying to see if the table is open. Okay, if it is open, then if it is closed, then I do nothing. If it is open, then I go to the next command. Okay, on error, resume next. The next command is a command close AC table, which is nothing but active table. Okay, and it gives the table name and then as save equal to yes. So this save equal to yes or no, even that you could change, save yes or save no, which means anything that you are working to discard the changes. And save no, we would use that when you do in batch compilations and batch processing of this information. Okay, so now let's try to create another content. Okay, wherever use a public subject, user content. Okay, if you can type that in, and a new module. Okay, public sub space sub, public space sub space, say we call it as user content, open close parenthesis, Okay, and I'm storing this in the fun with variables. Okay, so say fun with variables. Just type in that fun with variables. Message box fun with variable. Sorry, it's not that. Okay, let me take the control. Okay, can I?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah. Okay, I'm keeping a variable pass on onto this. So and message box. And so, okay, let me try to run this out. So what happens is, okay, okay, we don't have this fun with variables earlier defined. Okay, that's fine. And okay, so this is going to be the message box is going to be blank. Okay, and why is it blank? Because we just said we would want to give the user input here. So I can have the user input in slightly different ways. How how to get that user input and kind of a thing. So here, okay, I would say user input equal to input box. Okay, so this is what I have, and then message box is user input. Okay, let's try to execute this now. So I can type in any values here. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say okay to it. That's done. That's going to get displayed on my message box. Okay, you might be thinking this is quite simple, and why do we need this to work on? Okay, so this checks would be helpful when we go to a larger code and see how each of is it really bringing in the value. Like say you're doing a copy paste of the information or deriving a calculation. So that calculation can be passed on to this message box. Okay, so okay, which means assuming you do a calculation here, user input equal to input box and please enter a value. So please enter a value is nothing but that's going to get displayed as a text. Okay, now assuming that I have this user input here in the message box, I can key in any of the variables. So which means I'm storing this variable's information, okay, this information onto this variable, which is user input. And then I'm displaying the message box as an user input. So this is going to be, useful to us when we write a longer code. When we wanted to see what exactly is coming, which is something that you wanted to show it to the user, saying that this is being done and this is being how it's being executed and this is the value that you see, etc. So that's where you get to see this. Okay, so one of the thing that I see, okay, um, one of the things that I see is like super critical in terms of having any of the calculations in place. Okay, so if you try to take the percentage of some value and you're going in loop in the iterations of counter action. So when we say counter, it's going to be 100 times or 1,000 times or n minus one kind of an counters. If you have that, so which is nothing but you're going in loop. So while we get on to the loop, okay, what really happens is we might need to show what each of the value is coming up. If you want to do an debug on the error message. So that's where we use this message box. It's really critical to have this kind of a functionality. So what do we have in the earlier code where we showed what we write in, it's going to get displayed. The second thing is when we have a value stored in the variable, and that variable can be displayed using a message box, or that variable can be copied. So it can be multiple things that we see over there. Okay. Is this clear on storing the variable and calling that variable up?
Mhm.
Okay, that's good.